Good morning, everyone. It is Miss Odell, and it is Monday, January the 3rd, 2022, and it is Algebra 1 class. I hope you guys had a fabulous Christmas and a well-deserved break. Today, we are learning from home. As you look outside, you probably see lots of snow coming down. It's adding up here at my house as well. Well, let's move forward. Today we're going to be reviewing some things that we learned before Christmas break, slope and slope-intercept form, and then we're going to move on to point-slope form. All right, so let's begin reviewing. First of all, let's talk about slope. Remember we talked about slope is rise over run. Now remember as well that M is the abbreviation for slope. So if you see M equals, that means you're finding the value of slope. All right, so our formula is speaking of rise over run, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Notice that you are subtracting. All right, let's find slope here. Let's say we have points of 5 and 4 and 6 and -3. All right, so remember that we label these as xy, which is x1, y1, xy, which is your second set, which is x2 minus y, or x2, y2. Now, we're going to start with y2, which is here. -3 minus y1, which is 4 over 6 minus x1, which is 5, equals. Add a line, change the sign. -7 over 6 minus 5 is 1, which is actually a -7, but if you were going to find slope, you would definitely use it with the -7 over 1, because remember, this is your rise and this is your run, okay? Now, let's talk about finding or using the slope-intercept form. Here is the form, which is y equals mx plus b. And remember, m is slope and b is your y-intercept, okay? I think I gave you this form when we were back in school, this particular little chart for you to use. So to find the slope and y-intercept from the equation, all right? So if you have, let me get a different color here. So if you have, if you are given the slope and you're giving the y-intercept, so let's say the slope here, or m equals -7 over 1, and your y-intercept, and remember when you have your y-intercept, which is speaking of where y intercepts on the line. When you're finding the y-intercept, of course, x is 0. And let's say that your y is a -2, okay? So you are given this information and you're asked to write that in the slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. So we have y, our slope is a, and you can actually write it as -7, although when you were going to graph the slope, you're going to use -7 over 1. X plus -2, and that's how you would write the slope-intercept form. Now, if you are given the form and you're asked to identify the slope and the y-intercept, you would, let's say that you have y equals 3 over 4x plus 7. So you would say your slope is 3 over 4, and your y-intercept is 7. Or you could say, you could write it like that in your form that way. Okay, let's move on. Now we're going to talk about the point slope form, guys. This is coming from section 3.5. I know we're on remote, and this is a new concept, but we're going to do the very best that we can with it and practice it. And of course, you know that you can always let me know if you have questions, okay? So this is coming from section 3.5, which is beginning on page 110 in your textbook. And if you want to follow along with me, you can. First of all, if you look with me in your textbook, you are reminded that the y equals mx plus b is your slope-intercept form. And it's reviewed just exactly what we just did. But another form is the point-slope form, which is this. So a linear equation written in the point-slope form is y minus y1 equals your slope times x minus x1, okay? So I'll give you guys a copy of this to put in your binder when we get back to school, hopefully tomorrow, but, you know, I don't know about that. We'll see. So most of the time, I think in your textbook, you are given the slope. So you will be given the value of slope. I think actually in your textbook it's written like that instead of m equals, but it's the same thing. So let's say you're given the slope of 2, and you're given the points as 5 and 7, which is your y-intercept, okay? So let's pull this up here. Remember, you have y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. All right, now your first step here is going to substitute the slope and point into this form, into the point slope form, okay? All right, so we have y minus y1. Let me back up here and just let you know that this is x1, y1, okay? So it is y, I'm sorry, minus y1, which is 7, equals your slope is 2 times x minus your x1, which is 5. Now, take a look at that and take that in for just a moment. All right, so now you are going to simplify, okay, by adding or subtracting. You're going to start by multiplying your distributive property, okay? Let's use our distributive property here. So y minus 7, and as you know, I like to rewrite everything. 2 times x is 2x minus 2 times negative 5, which is the same as saying 10 here. All right? So now, your goal now is to rewrite this in the y equals mx plus b form, which is your slope-intercept form, okay? So, in order to do that, we have to rearrange. And the first thing that we're going to do is we want to move this 7 through the other side through its inverse operation, which is plus 8, okay? And you're going to add it to this 10 because those are whole numbers, all right? So y equals 2x negative 10 plus positive 8 is minus 2 or negative 2. And that is your final answer. So here's what well, let's just move on and we'll do a couple of these together, okay? Hold on. All right, so again, I put our formula back up here on a different screen. and we're going to practice some of these, okay? All right, so I'm actually doing number 3 in your book, so if you want to follow along with me, you can see that as well. So number 3 in your textbook, and actually this is coming from page 113, okay? I'll put that right here. Page 113. So you're given the slope, which is 3, and your point is 4, -1. Now remember, this is x1, y1, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to substitute the slope and the point into this slope-intercept form, okay? That's your first step. So you're going to substitute, I'm just going to put sub the slope and point into point slope form. All right, so I'm going to do that right underneath it so that you can stay with me here. All right, so y minus equals times, remember this is your slope, x minus, all right, so now y minus our slope is 3 equals, I'm sorry, not our slope, where our y1 is -1 equals, our slope is 3 times x minus x1, which is a positive 4, okay? Our second step, we're going to simplify, and you're going to do that through, your distributive property, and then you're going to add, subtract, whatever you need to do to simplify this, okay? All right, so I'm just going to rewrite my problem here. Y minus a -1 equals 3 times x minus 4. I'm going to use my distributor property, which would be y, and let's just go ahead and add a line, change a sign, which would make this y plus 1 equals 3x minus 12. Now, remember, you want to rewrite into your slope-intercept form. And that is y equals mx plus b. Okay? So let's continue to simplify. So -1, -1. So then you have, and that cancels, y equals 3x. You have a -12 minus 1 makes it a -13. Yep, and that is correct. So your answers that you would write for your problems are this and in this form, okay? So now, here is this form, and so that will be your answers. Okay, let's do another one here together, okay? Let's do number 5, because this one actually has your slope is -2/3, and your point is 5 and 2. Okay, so remember, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to rewrite it into the point slope form. Okay, so y minus y1 would be 2 equals slope -2/3 times x minus x1. Here's your x1 is 5. Okay, now you're going to, so when you're writing your problem, this will be, you will have two answers. This will be 1, okay? Now, we're going to simplify, and we're going to do that by adding 2. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Back up here. We got to use our distributor property first. All right, so this will be a negative 2 over 3x. Then you're going to multiply this. So if you have negative 5 over 1 times negative 2 over 3, remember when you're multiplying across unless you can do some cancellation, okay? So negative 5 times a negative 2 is a positive 10 over 3. I'm checking myself. All right, so then you're going to write in here plus 10 over 3, because remember it became a positive. Now you're going to simplify. You're going to add 2. So y equals negative 2 over 3x, and you're going to add 2 to 10 over 3 to 2 over 1. Remember, you got to have a common denominator. So if you multiply this times 3, you get 6 and 3. Then you get 16 over 3. So plus 16 over 3. And this is your other answer. So those are the 2 answers that you will write. All right, so I'm going to give you an assignment. I know that you're probably going to be panicking, but I am available today for questions, okay? So you're going to do on page 113, page 213, I want you to attempt. If you struggle, still at least show me that you put forth some effort. So 2 through, you know what, I'm going to lessen that. I'm even going to go with 2 through 10, even. All right, so that gives you 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 5 problems, 2 through 10 even. You must turn this in and show me that you've put forth some effort and tried. You know how to get in touch with me if you have questions. Thanks, guys.